night 2, the final night of the LARP. Out of game, this was an incredibly busy day with me doing my other stuff. Some amazing in-character interviews you should check out. But while I was doing all of my required duties, apparently the lawyers were fucking putting in work. So I show up. It's at a new location this time. Really cool place, though smaller than the other ones. So unfortunately, I know some people felt a little claustrophobic there. So found Alex, who had pages of prepared notes and an outline and our arguments and all of this stuff. Her and thankfully Abbott had been doing a ton of work behind the scenes to prep for this and also prep Jermaine. So I got to sit down with Abbott, with Alex, Jermaine, kind of get some of the last minute preparations in for a trial that would determine if this elder Bruja remained on the red list, aka was killed, or was removed from the red list, which is sort of a wildly unheard of thing. And it was clear that like Alex was very smart and had the legal stuff down, but also seemed kind of nervous for the trial. So Toledo's like, okay, I'm going to be of most use here, support and also charm, a little razzle dazzle. If this is a trial, Tigirius ultimately decides, right? So like that part's got to be good. But also it was made known that like the audience would, their opinions, they had little yes or no fans, and their reactions and opinions would be taken into consideration. So like we need to hit both, and legal jargon is not exactly going to win over a crowd, right? So Toledo's like, I'll do the crowd work. I'm going to keep you confident and hyped. Don't worry, we got this. Everything's good. I had a great talk with Jermaine again, and kind of just, again, Toledo's like really, really inspired by Jermaine as an anarch, where Toledo's becoming an anarch and has decided that he's probably a better anarch, or at least better strategist than many of them after his ordeal with the delegation in LA. At the very least, they need a new face of the movement, and Toledo's like, if anything, I could be that. But talking to Jermaine really made him realize, oh, there's levels to this shit, and I want to be like him. And Void Maquette did such a good job of like embodying this elder Bruja who had this intensity to him, this intelligence, this worldly wherewithal, but also that passion, right? This real belief in what he's doing and what he's risking. Like, I felt like we were all more scared for him than he was for himself, and that was cool. And also kind of the brilliance of like, he was sort of telling, his legal team, he's like, I'm fine either way, because if we win and I'm off the red list, that's a huge blow to the Camarilla, right? To get someone off the red list, and Tigirius, this infamous, powerful elder that represents the Ashira, a major political ally to the Ivory Tower, he's the one that sides with the Anarchs. And also this happens in a Camarilla city. All of that is how embarrassing for the Cam, and what a way to like really show the limitations of their power structure and the red list. The red list itself, which Toledo thinks is just complete bullshit. It's a political hit list, right? And he's like, but if I lose, he's like, I believe that it'll look, because he's like, his cause was pretty good. The case against him was weak. It was mostly the Toreador wanted him dead because he played a part in the French Revolution, and they didn't like that because it didn't work out for them, did it? Victoria Ash, being the Toreador darling that she is also looking out for her fellow roses and wanted him down. But again, it's not like the whole red list is so wishy-washy. It really is a political hit list, like even on a meta level. But it was kind of unclear accusations, and like, is he just a general troublemaker, or is he like a serial diablerist, which he wasn't. We'd learned he diablerized one time on accident, decades, maybe over a century ago, I think. I don't know. It was a whole thing of like, Tremaine's like, if I lose and they kill me, it's really going to show how corrupt their side is and how unjust they are. And I'm hoping it will inspire some action from the Anarchs. Which again, Toledo's like, yes, I want some action from the Anarchs right now. I think for a side that's supposed to be in opposition to this terrible structure that is the Ivory Tower, this blight on our kind, a lot of people are really cool, just kind of twiddling their thumbs and playing nice. So he's like, yeah, either people, this is a major blow to the cam or a major fire for the Anarch to get them to act. So he's like, damn, that's fucking brilliant. But also, like, you're willing to put your life on the line for this. Super inspired Tremaine, which was really fun to happen authentically, and I really took to heart as Toledo. And truly, again, I go into every one of these things pretty malleable, and my character arc is constantly adjusting. I always have something in mind, right? I always have a goal in mind for a character, but also, man, be adaptable, and having these interactions, having these scenes, and taking that, internalizing it, and letting that tell your story was great. So this was started as kind of a little jokey for Toledo, as many things do for him. I like playing him on the surface. It seems like there's not much going on there, but it's a lot of depth, and this was one of those moments where I want to be a Southern lawyer turned into I'm inspired to be the best Anarch I can be. Would not have happened without Maquette's amazing portrayal. So tip of the hat to him. Absolutely check his stuff out too, if you're not already, because the dude's making the content that needs to be out there for World of Darkness, and really appreciate it. So while this was happening, out of game, myself and Syrinx, and we collaborate on sort of what broad strokes of what we're interested in for our character story over the event. And we both wanted like a big fight, again, which we thought we'd build up to, ended up happening right away. But those fights weren't the big one. We really wanted to explore what a frenzy looks like, a lover's frenzy. And Toledo doesn't really frenzy. He's got high humanity. He's got a real lock on his beast. He's a denier of it. He ignores it. But luckily, he lives an easy life. He stays well fed. There's not a lot of things that really opportunities for him to lose control. The accumulation of his emotions this weekend is what really is going to lead to him having a frenzy that we talked about. So we knew we wanted a big like blowout confrontation, and we again don't do something like that without working that out with someone. So we had a lot of trust in each other. So on top of out of game being kind of stressed about this trial's again getting a full packet, a document, being like, this is so serious. I really trust my improv, and I'd read the evidence. I was like, I'm gonna be fine. And I'm like, okay, this is a different level that these what turns out many real life lawyers or lawyers in training are putting on for us. So I was like, okay, I got to do that, but first I got to have a big old fight with my girlfriend. So Ida pulls Toledo aside, was like, hey, we need to talk. And Toledo, again, no longer high and happy, is still simmering from, I mean, they left things before they're high on a very bad note, and now he has all this extra burden on him with the trial. Literally, someone's life is in his hands, and now he's got to deal with this bullshit again. And so he's heated. She's heated because she's been thinking on everything, and she's fucking done and really coming to terms with that this is a disaster. It's time to end it. And we, of course, do this publicly. It's a great moment where Ida starts in on him, right? Talking about how, just kind of confronts him and calls him out for all of his many ignorance and mistakes throughout the weekend and in general, and how he's not actually listening to her. He's trying to more put his emotions and kind of overpower the situation. And that his emotions are things that she just simply doesn't understand, but he doesn't realize they're like not talking the same language, and that's why they aren't getting anywhere. She also says, like, you just keep going, like, we're in love, it's fine, we're in love, it's fine, using it as an excuse instead of, like, actually challenging or actually being willing to admit you might be wrong on things or addressing the real issues between us. You're wanting to ignore them and just say it's fine because your heart tells you it's fine. It's like you're not only fooling yourself for this relationship, you're fooling yourself just in general. Like, yeah, the real reason I know, like, this is bullshit, and she's like, you're lying to yourself because our whole relationship is a lie. And that's the trigger. That's what gets Toledo, like, gets him right in the heart. And he can hope core anything. He can by stupid optimism blow through anything like this. But I don't know, something about that, like, hit him like a ton of bricks. And Ida goes on to say, our whole relationship is a lie. So you saying, oh, our love will see us through, our love conquers all, that doesn't exist. We, as a relationship, don't exist. She's like, everything I've told you and done to you or pretended up until Atlanta was fake, which there was a distinction there, right? She didn't say this is all fake. She said up until Atlanta was fake, meaning she actually has allowed herself, or some seed of some sort of feeling towards Toledo has taken hold. But it might be too late, because the months before this, the whole genesis of the relationship, Atlanta, she's like, I'm using you, and you need to get that through your head. And she's like, the situation, right? The whole, like, you're getting in the way. I've been using you, and now you're no longer useful to me. And she's like, and if you still think I'm good after that, she's like, I don't know what other proof I can give you that I am a monster. I am not this good person you keep saying I am. Brilliant. She fucking killed it. And Ida killed Toledo emotionally. Oh, it was such a good scene. And Toledo was very quiet, just taking this, right? I don't think ever really fought back at Ida. He's got snippy with Raphael, but never at Ida, really. He just sort of takes it, and then he finally starts to reply when she's like, fucking let him have it. And he's just like, you're right. She's like, no, you're not listening to me, blah, blah. He's like, no, I am, you're right. She's like, no. And then when Toledo, that's when the fucking frenzy starts to happen, and he just gets off, and he's like, no, you're right. You're a fucking monster. It's like, I believe you. You win. You're a bad person. You're disgusting. You're evil. It's like you are a bad person. You're a bad mentor to Rowan. You're a bad girlfriend to me. You're a bad kindred. You're a risk to them all, really. You're all these things you say, you're right. You are that and worse. And he says, I can take it. I've dealt with monsters like you before, and I could do it again. What I'm not going to let you do is continue this cycle of you were treated shittily, and you're around shitty people, so you're going to make other people shitty like you. You're not going to do that to Rowan. I don't know why you brought her into this, but you're only going to hurt her because you are incapable of doing good. You are incapable of helping someone. You are a liar. You use people. I'm not going to let you use her. I don't care what happens between us anymore. We're done, sure. But I will not let you do anything to Rowan. Said if I see you speak to her, interact with her, do anything to try to pull her into your twisted fucking world, I'm going to do something about it. I'm not going to do anything about everything you put me through. But you better believe that she is off limits. And to emphasize his point, he grabs her and kind of like shakes her up her arms, almost pushes her against the stairwell there to really, again, the beat's coming out. Something he's not an intimidating person. He does not use force or anything, but in that moment to emphasize that it was this other part of Toledo, this part that he has kept buried for so long. Now that it is out, it's lashed out physically at Ida. And there's a moment of like Ida being stunned to silence, Toledo with his hands on her, just saying awful things back to her, that it sort of hits him of, fuck, I don't recognize what just happened here, but he's also doesn't have the wherewithal to do anything about it, so he just lets her go and storms off. As you can see here, beautiful clip by Vin Vox. Got into it. I could, out of character, I could like feel the tension of the people around me. Like I felt a collective like holding of breath, especially when I grabbed Ida. Again, something we collaborated on. Syrinx, it was her idea. I think she even went, I don't remember. All I know is I had to be like, hey, the optics of like me, a big, strong, powerful, devilishly handsome, intimidating person in real life. The optics of me like being too physical with you might be too much. And also, I want this to be a big scene with us, and I don't want anyone compelled to interrupt it. So I think we played it off just right, to where I felt the tension all around me. And when I let go and started to walk off, I'm like, I'm about to get jumped in character or maybe out of character by like 6 people here. It was, again, I felt in my body. It was so good. So good. This is why I love LARP. So Toledo goes outside. Just as any minute now, it's going to have to be pulled back in for a trial. And now he's fucking just coming down from a frenzy. And wouldn't you know it, outside, ran into Dimitri and Katja. Which was, again, purely serendipitous and exactly what Toledo needed. And he said, like, I think you guys are right. I should have ran. I tried. I really did. And she used me, and I'm a fucking idiot. But that's not even the problem. The problem is I think I just lost control, and I don't understand how that happened. That doesn't happen to me. It's like something else took the reins, and that something else wanted to hurt Ida. And no matter what Ida does to me, I never want to hurt her. Again, they're like, that sounds like that was the beast. Which, again, Toledo is versed in certain things. He knows about the beast, but again, he's ignored it purposely. Has never really had to deal with it. So he's like, is this... I hate that. I don't ever want to feel that again. What do I do? They're like, congratulate. Like, well, you got to deal with it. We all do. And it was a really cool moment where they talked about how they deal with their beasts, some of their techniques, and they don't ignore it like Toledo does. They find as healthy outlets as they can, if possible. And then it was great. There was a gangrel there who overheard this, kind of stepped in and was like, oh, we're talking about the beast. And I believe they are they follow the Church of Set. So they had some really cool advice that was very relevant to Toledo. And they're like, yeah, there's other ways to deal with it. They're like, it's going to be worse for you. It's going to hurt you in the short run and long run if you just keep trying to ignore it as you have been. And they're like, there's ways. And he mentioned, he's like, I know a priestess Inez who has orgies and whatnot. So he's like, okay, this doesn't sound too bad, actually. Maybe I want to hear more about this. And being the working for the Church of Set as he is, was like, oh yes, I would love to tell you more. Let me get you in contact with her, and we can talk about that. And he's like, oh, I know Inez. I wouldn't mind hearing more about that from her. It was a great moment where, again, my goofy fucking cowboy got to have this really cool, deep discussion about like just the nature of the beast coming from very different perspectives. And it was an amazing, emotional, personal horror scene that immediately fed into sort of this sort of lore stuff that, again, I play Toledo very malleable. So his understanding of the beast and how to deal with it is very much affected by what he's being told in this moment. think he did ask Kat at one point. It's like, hey, can you talk to her? And she's like, yeah, I'll have a discussion with her. We'll see what's going on. He's like, maybe you could talk with both of us. And she's like, no, I'm not being like a therapist. I'm not doing couples therapy. Sorry, which I fucking love her for that. Okay, she's like, I'm gonna help you out. She's like, I'll do girl talk. I'm not being your therapist. Fuck that. Loved it. We're like, they want to help. They get involved, but in a reasonable way. I remember Demetrius saying something about, I think you guys can make it through this. Like, you're gonna have these bumps in the road. You just gotta ride them out. And Toledo was like, hey, riding her out is about the only thing we have right in our relationship. It was he's an idiot, but it was great. So right after this big fight, it's coming down from a frenzy and is pulled in for the trial to begin. Not a moment's rest for my boy. So the trial, which is so well done. Storyteller, he fucking nailed like some of the great like courtroom drama points, gave us opportunities for, you know, our objections and our motions, and it's like some of that stuff and some back and forth without letting it be a free-for-all. It was just bogged down into back and like it's so easy to make this incredibly boring. Most of the vampire LARP is talking, so like another form of like more formal talking can bog things down. I was very pleasantly surprised that how good of a job everyone did. The prosecuting team, those damn cam, nailed it. True cam, they had their shit together. What a cool, united, professional front they were. And also, like the cam, they didn't play fair. There's fucking 4 of them to the 2 of us, which was really just the 1 because Alex did all the work. But Toledo got to have a moment or two. And Jermaine was put up. He did an amazing job pleading his case and kind of having an emotional moment, and just his acting during it too. Just like truly like a man on trial. It was great. His appeal to the crowd, and most importantly, the end got to closing remarks because they treated it like a trial. It was a bit dry at times. So it was like, I gotta spice this up a little bit. Got to wing it, improvise a little razzle dazzle at the end. Most importantly, started it with, now I'm just a simple Southern lawyer, and that's all I wanted. Look, here's proof. This started as that joke and turned into a incredibly legitimate, deep, complicated narrative driving plot. Don't let your dreams be dreams. And the second best part, we won, baby. Free my boy Jermaine. It was amazing. Oh, it was amazing. Well deserved by Alex. So much kudos to that venture. During that, Toledo also made an appeal of what was, to me, a really, really cool thing is that Siobhan, the venture on the prosecution side, sisters or broodmates or something like that with Alex. So I kind of talked about like this, not only like it's the evidence here or not here to prosecute Jermaine, but also like this compelled a venture in the Camarilla to turn against her sect and her sister because she couldn't, her conscience wouldn't allow her to let this man be punished for something he's not guilty of. Such a cool, like the fact that Alex's choice to turn, it was so cool, and big consequences for her. She's now like Victoria Ash's number 1 on her hit list, as well as I'm sure the cam aren't thrilled with her, but she did the right thing. She got a big win. Very much welcome in the Anarchs, as she told Toledo. She's already been offered playing times. No thanks. But huge. But a little bittersweet, because again, Toledo's been on this fucking emotional roller coaster, and he said that crushing low, big old high after this, and he looks around for them to celebrate with. And Abbott pulled a lot of the Anarchs in, and they did a great job showing public support. He got kudos from a lot of people, but his love, his girl, or was it even his girl anymore? She wasn't around. She didn't see the trial, and that stung. So, feeling a little encouraged again, and even though his relationships over in shambles, he at least, his main concern right now is less of that and more the beast thing. So he's goes to try to do some more good. That's what makes him feel better. Be good, put good in the world. Go back to old Toledo. Forget that moment of weakness. Wasn't him. Goes back inside, and the first thing that happens is the enchanting seneschal of Atlanta walked up to him, more or less was like, "Hey, I heard you hit a woman." Which is a wild opening, but also fucking I love her. That was yeah, you gotta call it like it is. You gotta say it, and she said it. But Toledo's like, "Hang on, okay, yeah, that's a wild accusation. One, I didn't. I promise I didn't hit a woman. Two, like, who told you that? Did you talk to the woman in question? Because I think even she would tell you I didn't do that." And he's fucking scared because again he's sweetie. He thinks he's a good guy, and if like that's what the court of Atlanta thinks of him, he's like, "Oh fuck." So so he's like, no, I promise. And she's like, "Well, your own people are saying you did it." He's like, "My own people?" It's like, "Yeah, the anarchs are saying it." And he's like, "Which anarch?" And she's like, "Well, I don't remember his name." And she's kind of looking around, and Toledo has an inkling. He's like, "Is it an anarch that's like you not remember because they're just like look like an anarch type of thing, and like what you'd picture when you picture an anarch?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I think I know who it is, but yeah, no, like if talk to Ida, and if she's saying this happened, we'll deal with it from there. But like, if it's not too much to ask, can you get confirmation before I'm punished?" And she's like, "Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I'll do that." It's great. So Toledo got a little confidence boost, walked in, "Hey, I heard you hit a woman." And then he's like, "Fuck, never mind. We're back down." But the plan was he's trying to make good on what he's supposed to do, and he made a boon was cashed in for him to help Dimitri. So he's trying to find a way to do that. And something Toledo had heard during this moment, we were approached by a storyteller who said, "Hey, stick around at around this time," giving us time a little later. Theo Bell is going to make a phone call and wants to speak with you. And if you don't know, Theo Bell is like the anarch, the most infamous anarch in the lore. A currently active Bruja who's sort of known for one shooting the head with his shotgun of one Hardestat, sort of the leader of the Cam-ish at the time. Bunch of lore stuff. Point is, Theo Bell's a big fucking deal and the guy in the anarch movement. And Toledo learns he's going to get a call from him to congratulate him for the trial. We're back up again. But because Toledo it's more important for him to make good on his word than anything else. He thinks he might be able to leverage that phone call to help Dimitri. So he was told earlier in the night that Prince Ignatius, it's the epitome of Prince in Toledo's eyes, the Ventru patriarch of the Sanguine Alliance, and all around. For a Cam and for a Ventru, pretty cool dude. And also impeccably dressed. But Toledo was told Ignatius has a ton of the cards that essentially he's collected enough to where he can kind of decide who gets to be herald or whatever. And he's thinking maybe Toledo could leverage like, "Hey, I'm about to have the ear of Theo Bell. I can use this or leverage this or do something with offer this to Ignatius and maybe get some cards out of it." Luckily or unluckily for others, Toledo did find him. All right, and was essentially told that stuff had already happened. The cards have been given out. Herald was chosen. Fortunately, it wasn't Dimitri or Vice. Vice was disqualified because, you can't have an anarch thin blood be a Cam Harold. Fair. But we had to try, right? In this moment, Helia, wonderful, wonderful Helia, I think could tell Toledo was in a bad mood, going through a rough time. I believe she also witnessed the fight with Ida earlier that night and said, hey, you might cheer you up. You want to see a show? And he said, you know what? Yeah, I can use a little distraction. The show in question was Lucius being handled by Victoria Ash, made to get on his knees and apologize to her and Caspian for this whole debacle that Helia, being the Toreador she is, I believe started. It's a whole other story, but essentially some things that happened in the in-character chat were printed off, and some comments, maybe some less than reverent comments. Reverent, but maybe a little lewd comments. Not lewd, rude comments about Victoria Ash were made by someone, and Helia managed to print out the receipts and show Victoria Ash, which is so fucking funny to me and to Toledo. But basically, yeah, Helia was watching part of the fallout from that, because I don't know the whole story. Check out the Lucius recap for more specifics on that. But basically, yeah, he had to sort of grovel, which it was very weird for Toledo seeing Lucius, who he really like looks up to as like the man, as far as like they don't make him tougher than that guy, grovel because of Victoria Ash, who Toledo had been arm in arm and buddies with the night before. So what a world. He would have loved to help him, but Toledo was truly beaten down at this point, and also Toledo plays stupid, isn't stupid enough to interfere with Victoria Ash, especially after he was just part of winning Germain's removal from the red list, something Victoria Ash was very clearly against. So he watched, didn't necessarily make him feel better, but it was a little distraction. And sometime after this, Rowan approached, and Rachel Kordell, ladies and gentlemen, fucking brilliant actress. There was this amazing scene between the two of them where Toledo told Rowan, hey, just so you know, me and Ida aren't a thing anymore. We're broken up. We got into it pretty bad. And Rowan, again, plays sort of flighty and whatnot. Also at this point, I believe, had been cured. So that was not her existence. Her life was no longer an immediate concern. That was taken care of by other kindred during all of this stuff. But I just remember like the physicality. She's like tracing patterns on the wall next to us, while also like kind of like giving Toledo little looks at just the right time, little side eye, and really challenging Toledo, but in an encouraging way, making Toledo admit some things, kind of taking advantage of this moment of vulnerability, and was asking like, oh, like, okay, this happened, but what do you want? Do you want her back? Are you going to fight for her back? What are you going to do? But also, if you come back to her, you know that's what Ida wants. She wants you to come back, and then she's going to keep walking all over you. If you want things back, they need to be different. And Toledo goes from like just trying to say what he thinks is the smart thing or what he thinks Rowan wants is like, no, I'm not going to fight for her back. Like, you're right. She treats me like shit. Why would I do that? But like Rowan led him to a weird roundabout way of like letting him feel like it is okay to want to fix things with Ida, but you can't just keep repeating this pattern that you're stuck in. Things need to be different if they're going to work. It was a whole conversation that was brilliantly done and just authentic, and again, purely just off the cuff of these two characters just sharing their opinions, and Rowan just fucking in here in Toledo's mind. And at this point, Toledo like respects Rowan a lot, and I think talked about that a little bit of like, I'm sorry that I've been treating you like a kid, like I'm playing along with the whole I'm your dad thing, but like, yeah, you're a grown adult before you're a kindred, and I should treat you more like that. And like clearly you have a lot of emotional intelligence and probably more healthy relationship advice than I do, despite my many, many years of being in loving relationships, because mine might not have been real because, you know, the whole bond thing. And in a weird way, I guess I should be listening to you more on this. And yeah, it was great. It was great. But then Rowan also shared her frustrations with Ida too. Like it felt like this was the first time plenty of people are like, you and Ida aren't healthy. You shouldn't be together. Valid, but that's never gonna work on Toledo. If you tell Toledo his relationship isn't good, he's gonna be like, what do you know? I'm in love, damn it. But Rowan, who knows them both, and he felt like has been on a side, or at least been open to all sides in a way a lot of people aren't, really took to heart what Rowan had to say, and kind of came to, maybe I shouldn't just be done with it, even though I kind of went scorched earth there in our fight. But like, he knew in his heart he did want to, even if not get back together, he couldn't leave things like that. But also, he couldn't go back to being walked all over. So yeah, great heart to heart. And once again, it's up and down, up and down, up and down. Toledo's on the up again. And then Corazon shows up. It's like, hey, we're going to go do the rest of those drugs by the river. You guys want in? Rowan's like, sure. So he's like, wish I could. I'm about to get a really important phone call, and I don't want to be high as fuck and an idiot during it. So you guys have fun. So Toledo went back downstairs, ran to the Seneschal again, who did let him know, hey, you're off the hook. But if you I find out you're like breaking rules of Elysium or something like that, I'm going to let your own people deal with you, because apparently they're eager to. So, and also let him know that Sin was the one who told her that Toledo did something he didn't do. So Toledo clocked that, though we weren't able to do anything about it that evening. Future thread, maybe. Then the Theo Bell call happened, which was a storyteller played the part of Theo Bell. Toledo, Alex went outside to receive the kudos, and it was funny because it was like kind of confusing, because like one of the people was a Cam Ventru, and he offered it's called a key, which is essentially a get out of tower free card, in a way that if a member of the Cam has this, they can call in the big guns. And essentially, normally getting out of the tower is a death sentence, especially if you're well established, or if you do switch sides and somehow survive, you're going to be like starting over, right? All your assets and things will be gone. This is a way that like all the Anarch resources will go into making sure you wind up on the right side, in the right sect, and also that you don't take many losses for it. Your stuff will be intact, you'll be intact, all that good stuff. It's a really big deal, and it takes a really powerful Anarch to be able to make this a thing, like Theo Bell. Toledo winds up being the only Anarch who can claim that level of responsibility for getting Germain removed from the red list. A huge victory for the Anarchs, and a real blow to the Cam. No, embarrassing. Can't imagine. So yeah, there was all praise for Toledo, and it's pretty much like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna make sure like people know your name. You're the man. You got friends here in Vegas where Theo Bell set up, and the movement in the whole, and more or less, which for the sake of time and whatnot, Storyteller was also like, we'll deal with some details in an epilogue. And I was like, okay, but basically, Toledo is legitimized in the Anarch movement. He went from an LA doing it to kind of as not a joke, but to see what it was all about, dip his toes in, realize it was a mess, decides, okay, I could do it better, gets inspired by Germain and really starts to take it seriously. And now fucking Theo Bell knows who Toledo is and has given him his flowers. And whether Toledo likes it or not, he's part of the fucking Anarch movement, man, in a big way, in a short time. I love this story. I love this. This is wild. And again, not my wildest dreams. I went into this shooting from the hip, and right on target. So Toledo has this political power and accolades and all of these things that he would have never dreamed of. He avoided kindred politics for hundreds of years, and now he's one of the more notable anarchs. And it feels great, but also, man, wouldn't it be nice to like share this with someone he cared about? Especially as unfortunately, a big part of the motivation of why he got into the anarch stuff, or at least the more public-facing, serious stuff, was to impress Ida, because she really did not take him seriously in LA. So he became a delegate. He was like showing off his sash, like, hey, like, you know, I'm a pretty big deal. You know, I'm a serious kindred too. You should take me seriously, and not think you walk all over me. And now he's achieved this, and she's not even around for it. In fact, sadly or hilariously, Ida isn't really tracking any of Toledo's political movements because she doesn't take it seriously. I remember even earlier, I think the first night, he was wearing his delegation sash, this bad boy. And she's like, well, what are you doing? Why are you wearing that? He's like, this means I'm like really important. I'm like pretty much the leader of the anarchs. A little tongue-in-cheek thing he was joking about all weekend. Which really pissed some people off, as it was meant to. But some played along with it in a really fun way too. And we'll see what happens with that. And that's like the most she's acknowledged anything is like, no, that's stupid. That's not what that means anyway. That's the most she's acknowledged his political career. And yeah. See if she can ignore it now. She can. After this, Toledo's outside. Rowan's there again. Rowan is now high and just talking. He tells Rowan, like, hey, this big thing happened. And, like, I have so much to celebrate tonight. And I realized, like, none of it feels as good as it should. Because, like, I just wanted, like, Ida to tell me good job. Or to, like, be proud of me a little bit. But that's not going to happen. And then Rowan was pissed at Ida, too. He's like, you know what? She's been ignoring me all night. Like, I tried talking to her, and she just kind of walks the other way. Blah, blah, blah. Like, she doesn't take me seriously either, even though, like, she's like, why even bring me? Why even rescue me and do all of this? Like, you say I'm your daughter, your ward, and now you're just ignoring me? Like, what the fuck? And, like, I really needed her tonight and all this stuff. And Toledo's like, yeah, she does that. You know what? She is selfish. Fuck that. He starts getting like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's me and you, kid. Me and you against the world. Mostly Ida. Not even clocking, which was funny because, like, in and out of character, did not put together that Ida was ignoring Rowan because Toledo told Ida to leave Rowan alone. The thought that Ida would listen to him didn't even cross his mind or as a person's mind. So it was a funny moment of, like, in that he's truly like, what the fuck is wrong with Ida? Like, again, she could be an asshole to me, but not to Rowan. Had not even be like, oh, Ida's, like, I just called her a terrible person and said to leave Rowan alone, and she is truly didn't clock it in the moment, and I think that's very funny. Also, I don't think Rowan was around for that part of the fight. I know she was there for the beginning, but then got pulled away for something, so I think Rowan also didn't know that Ida was specifically told not to talk to her. So we're here being like, fuck Ida for ignoring Rowan, even though she's doing what Toledo asked. Amazing. And during this conversation, Rowan was like, and there she is again, just lurking, watching, won't even actually talk to us. Because Ida was, I guess, standing behind Toledo during this conversation, but like not approaching. And Toledo knew Rowan was high and was that kind of high the night before, knows you see things and stuff, and her emotion plays tricks on you. So he's like, yeah, like, I know it seems like she's here, but she's not. She's abandoned us. And Rowan's like talking to her over Toledo's shoulder, and Toledo's like, she's not actually there, Rowan, but yeah, let it out. And then Ida comes in, and because Toledo's telling Rowan, like, you know what, you should find her, you should talk to her, confront her. And then when Ida like steps up, Toledo's like, there you are. And she's like, can we talk? And he's like, actually, no. I don't want to say a word to you until you make things right with Rowan. And Ida's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, that's the right thing to do. Is like, Rowan's done nothing wrong. Talk to her. She needs you. And she's like, and you're sure? Because again, she's like, you told me not to do this. In the moment, still not clocking, Ida's asking permission to speak to Rowan again, which, breaks my heart a little bit that, like, that's what was happening. And Toledo didn't fucking clock it, but, drama, right? But anyway, he lets them have a talk, and he stays out of it. He goes elsewhere. Actually, at this point, I believe Raphael, who Toledo hasn't had, like, an actual conversation with, really, since the Raphael fucked with him at the club. And Raphael came up and had a talk with Toledo and was giving Toledo, like, advice, I think trying to be like, I don't know, trying to essentially be like, I know Ida, and, like, here's what you need to do to get Ida back. And it was sort of a very interesting moment for Toledo in the sense that, like, again, Ralph's been under his skin the whole time, but, like, he knows it's just like he had real problems with Ida that he was ignoring, and Raphael was an easy distraction. It's easy to be mad and jealous at someone. Like, he knows how to do that rather than reflect and get to the bottom of his. Literally, him and Toledo and Ida have, like, such different moral compasses and also just outlooks on if morality is even possible for kindred. Like, their issues run deep. They're like philosophical, foundational differences, not just like personality differences. And that's scary. That's hard to overcome. And that's what Toledo's been ignoring. It's not really that they're a bad couple as much as they represent two vastly different kinds of kindred. Toledo's more aware of that now. So Raphael's a less upsetting presence. Also, he doesn't like him because Raphael was, again, just antagonize him for no reason. And Toledo really doesn't like the mustache twirling villain type of, like, kindred stuff, which many kindred love fucking with other people just because they can. Toledo hates that because Toledo's normal for a person, but not normal for a kindred. So that's not normal person behavior. And again, Toledo thinks he's human more than anything, and other people should act like it. And also Raphael speaking to Toledo, Toledo, I think, really put him on this pedestal of, like, oh yeah, it's this dark, brooding, mysterious, like, someone who really does know Ida better than me, and, like, how can I compete? And in that conversation, Raphael's advice was not incorrect, but, like, Toledo realized, was just listening, taking it in, and realized, like, oh, I think he said that, he's like, Raphael, you actually, like, made me feel better in this. Not your advice. Your advice was shit. Because you just helped me realize you don't know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, I guess you knew a version of Ida decades ago during a very short time but, like, you don't know anything about our relationship. Because, like, the advice didn't make sense for their situation because they really only heard some of Ida's stuff. They don't know who Toledo is. Toledo's like, oh, this makes me feel better. You really don't know either one of us very well, and you especially don't know us as a couple. That I feel better now. He's like, thanks for trying, but yeah, you don't really know what you're talking about, and that's what I needed to hear. So cool. Didn't really end up on friendly terms, but yeah, it was a weird thing of Toledo. If Raphael would have, I think, nailed the read on the situation, it would have been devastating for Toledo. So it was like the inaccuracy really helped him feel better, feel more confident, realize, okay, what you think's a problem isn't the problem. I don't have to worry about you anymore. I guess I do need to actually focus on the stuff that I know is the issue, but I've been avoiding, and have a talk with Ida. And then as this was wrapping up, so was Rowan and Ida's conversation, and then Ida and Toledo had a talk outside after their big fight. Ida congratulated him on his win in the trial, which meant a lot to Toledo. Later, I learned, talking to Rachel, that Rowan told her to congratulate him, so it doesn't mean as much. But you know what? Toledo didn't know that in the moment, so it was still nice. And they had a good, heartfelt, like, moment of, like, vulnerability with each other and genuine apologies on both sides. You know, she apologized for using him and manipulating him and lying about her feelings or intent. But, you know, as he picked up on, she's like, that changed. That something has changed, and that kind of scared me. And Toledo apologized for being so purposefully ignorant to the realities of their situation. He's like, yeah, I was trying to force this to work. I was lying just as much, really, but I was lying to myself more than to you. Both of them kind of met in the middle in a really cool way of acknowledging their parts in this fucked up, toxic situation that they had created. But also realize that even though this was, I guess, all built on like a lie from both of us for different reasons, somehow through it all, I think I might actually have feelings for you. Like both of them felt that way. And it's like, should we actually try that? And Ida's like, I would like to try this honestly, for real. Just huge. And Toledo was obviously felt the same. And also he was like, you know what? And I don't, even though you said you started getting feelings for me now, I think you had feelings more. You had something for me this whole time because you said you were using me, and that can't be true because I know I'm pretty much useless in the way that you're going to get anything out of manipulating me. So I think you've been sweet on me for a long time. It was jokes. She didn't storm off for this. But yeah, Toledo, instead of being like, yeah, we're going to do this. This is what I want. I need this to work. He was like, what do you want? And let Ida give her honest opinion on things as well. And then they had a wonderful full circle moment. She wanted to kiss him, which again was usually a manipulation tactic or a way to distract him or get out of talking about her feelings. He was like, is this because you want to, or because is it an ulterior motive? She's like, I want to. And full circle. What a beautiful button at the end of all the drama. And Rowan then did have to ruin it. She was obfuscated listening in on this conversation, as everyone in Toledo's family apparently does every time he tries to have a talk with someone, which is great. And unobfuscated and said, well, guess the gang's back together. So fucking corny. It was great. Then the three of them had sort of just a gut spilling moment where they admitted some things. Ida admitted to diablerizing her sire. I think part of, again, they were dealing with that weird confession curse that like Toledo never actually knew about. So did that, walked away. I think for the final walk away, because she had to get that and take a walk. Then Rowan, I think, said something I don't know, talked about sire stuff. Toledo, I think, confessed. I don't know if he'd fully talked about it before, but it was like, hey, I've only my sire, and really ever since I've been embraced, I've been bloodbound to a person, and sort of that's all I really know about relationships. And then Rowan was like, you think if I bloodbound my dad, he would love me? I'm like, what? Why are you breaking my heart? That was devastating. But again, she said it in that spacey, amazing way that it's like the delivery seems innocent, but the words you say carry so much impact. So then at a moment where Toledo's like, hey, I'm setting boundaries now. I'm not letting you walk all over me, Ida. Let's back to your diablerie thing. You're not allowed to diablerize anymore. And she's like, no. He's like, fine. You're only allowed to diablerize once every whatever. And she's like, no. You know what? We'll talk about it. He's like, okay. And he looked at Rowan's like, see, progress. I'm setting boundaries. Didn't work, but he tried. And then they talked about killing Rowan's dad, birth father, human father who's still alive, because apparently he's a real shithead. And he was like, we have to stop killing people. Like, stop doing that. That's not an answer for everything. You have to put good in the world, not just remove bad. But then had a little talk with Rowan afterwards of like, look, I kind of want to know where other kindred are coming from, Ida specifically. I don't tell Ida this, but I'll go with you to kill your dad. Like, just don't let Ida do it, because she has to, like, she's losing herself to this violence, and gotta fix her. Got to fix her. I think somewhere doing this, everything was just like the things were winding down. A lot of people were going outside. A lot of random like talks were happening. At some point during this, Ooze. Ooze was the gangrel that talked, who also, I believe, is part of the Church of Set, who talked to Toledo about his beast, and came back and was like, hey, good news. I talked to Inez. She's really happy to learn that you're single now, and would love to talk to you about your beast and stuff. Because the last time I talked, he was like, I'm done with Ida, I'm single. And I heard, I think the Inez orgy line was dropped. And Toledo's like, okay, yeah, sign me up for whatever that beast stuff is. So he was just like, hey, good news, this is happy. He's like, if you would have told me this 10 minutes ago, it'd be a different story. But I just got back together with Ida. So, damn. Which again, hilarious timing. Completely unplanned. And then the true ending to the LARP felt like an after credit cameo / like dun dun, something scary happening for the future. Ida comes over with this one in tow. It says, I would like you to meet Elodie. We're going to be taking her with us. I'm adopting her too now. That Elodie, Toledo fucking knows Elodie already. She's the motherfucker who watched Toledo and his coterie struggle for information that was no longer there against the SI, and Elodie knew it. Watched them get set on fire. It didn't say anything, and when asked why, said, I don't know, it was funny. That Elodie, she's back, and now is another daughter for Toledo to take care of. All because, I guess at some point, Elodie and Ida had a great little adventure together off on one of their missions. So, to be continued. The family's grown. Everyone's in a healthy place now. And I'm sure it won't be a problem. And I won't even talk about that evening Elodie being sacrificed in some sort of fucked up Shalamite oblivion ritual that destroyed her and then reformed her, tainted with the abyss or something like that. Yeah, that's fine. Because Toledo doesn't have enough problems. So yeah. Ended Atlanta in the same but a real relationship, maybe? They're gonna try. We'll see what happens. With another ward. And with the weight of the Anarch movement now on his shoulders a little bit, and Toledo stepping things up and gonna keep on this path and see what happens. See if he could truly fix vampire society like he thinks he can. Fix his relationship, why can't he fix the world? You know? And that is what happened to Toledo in Atlanta. I have a million more things I want to say about stuff, my reactions to things, behind the scenes stuff, advice for people, what I learned. But I'll talk about that in another video. So if you're a freak who wants to really just consume 100 hours of content about one weekend because I can't stop talking about it because I fucking loved it, then I got you.